Hello, welcome to Season 11 of The Horrific Podcast. We're two friends who live in different places but share a love for scary movies. This season, in each episode, we will not both watch the same movie on our own and then record a conversation together about it later. We have 10 previous seasons of doing exactly that, and it's time for something new. This season, each episode will focus on a larger horror topic, trend, or maybe even rumor. We'll speculate about upcoming movies, debate genre definitions, and do our best to apply the perspective of two people who have watched way too many horror movies to different types of horror media. Thanks for coming along for the ride. So when I think about who are like the exciting new voices in horror in the 2020s, there's really only two names that kind of come to mind immediately for me. And it may just be because I'm on the clock and the recorder's running and I can't think clearly. But for me, it's Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and the one that came after that I can't remember the name of.
Hereditary and Midsommar.
Midsommar, yes, thank you. And Jordan Peele, who so far has done Get Out and Us.
Yeah. And
this seems like a good time to talk more about Jordan Peele because he has a new movie coming out soon.
Yes, he does. He has one called Nope.
So we talked a lot more about Ari Aster in our reviews of Hereditary and Midsommar.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this week we could do a deep dive on Jordan Peele and what we know and don't know about Nope and what we hope will be in it.
I like it.
Okay. Good. Because I don't have anything else prepared.
Good.
So
I just like the rhyme was what I was kind of saying.
Nice.
It was good.
So yeah, I will do a quick background on Jordan Peele and then we'll go from there.
Let's do it.
So he got his start on the Fox comedy series Mad TV. He formed a production company called Monkey Paw. He eventually moved on to do an original sketch comedy show with Keegan-Michael Key called Key and Peele on Comedy Central from 2012 to 2015. After that, he did his first feature film, which was released in 2017 and named Get Out. He then co-created a couple of comedy series in 2018 and 2019, which was The Last OG for TBS and Weird City for YouTube. But also in 2019, he directed Us and produced a reboot of The Twilight Zone. In 2020, he produced the HBO series Lovecraft Country, and he co-wrote and produced the 2021 sequel to Candyman. He's been busy.
It was like they put out a good film and then everyone was like, we need him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me that a guy known for sketch comedy then almost immediately became like a very acclaimed horror director.
Mm-hmm.
That's just such a weird career path, you know?
Well, it's something that I think we've touched base on, but it's because, you know, some of the stuff that he's doing is definitely influenced by, like, respectfully influenced by, you know, the horror artists, you know, going back, way back to, you know, Alfred Hitchcock. But, you know, it's influenced by some of those, but he's like putting a modern twist spin on it. And I don't feel like there are too many horror movies coming out nowadays that aren't like, you know, here's Halloween 15. You know, don't get me wrong. I love the Halloween series, but you know, it's like, let's get some original stuff done, you know, and what he came out and proved was like, hey, which I hope it sets the stage for artists to come where it's like, hey, just because you're a comedian doesn't mean you aren't a fan of horror. You know, like you always hear that, you know, the comedy actors or like comedians and stuff like aren't necessarily the funniest, nicest people off the clock kind of thing because they have to put the show on. And it's like people do have darker sides and things that they're interested in. This is prime example. Like you have an actual horror fan making horror movies. And it shows and makes people want to watch it.
Yeah, and I like what you said there about an actual horror fan who's making the movies. And I think that, you know, what's cool about, you know, at least what I've seen from Jordan Peele so far is it seems like he's very much a longtime fan of horror, and also has a creativity and like a way of like synthesizing those influences into something that feels very fresh and new, which is cool. And it's a really just an interesting mix because it's not like he's doing horror comedy. Comedy is not at all like a major factor in the movies that he's done so far. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that he's, able to be super creative and effective across multiple genres.
Yeah. I just love that idea that, like, I'm hoping it opens the doors because we're going to get some really good horror movies coming out, or horror, anything coming out. And it's not just horror, like, just because you're a horror maker doesn't mean you can't make a comedy kind of thing. It has to,
right.
There's give and take, but I hope it shows that, like, you don't have to have that background to be successful, Yeah. I'm sure we're going to get a few terrible ones, but, regardless, like, we still got some good ones coming too. I know we do. So,
yeah. And I think that anytime you have an example of someone who can step out and do it, that inspires other people to try to do the same. And you're right. Some are going to be really good. And that's what I'm excited about. Some are going to be bad, but there's lots of bad movies that get made every year.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, Jordan Peele got a lot going on, but the movies that he has written, produced, and directed so far are Get Out and Us. And now, in July, he's going to release his newest one that he has written, produced, and directed, and that's called Nope, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and did some deep research, did a lot of fact-checking, a lot of verification across multiple sites. I compiled a list of things that we know definitively about Nope so far. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Get comfortable. We're going to be here a minute.
I like it.
The release date is July 22nd, 2022.
I knew it.
It's going to be released by Universal Pictures. Daniel Kaluuya, who also starred in Get Out, is in it. The movie poster has been released, and it's like a cloud over a town at night. And that's it.
I was hoping you were just going to stop after July 20th. That's why I laughed, because I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But that's true, though. Like, all we got are theories about this movie.
Yeah, like, you don't even have to scroll to read the entire Wikipedia page for this movie.
Yeah.
Which in 2022 is pretty damn impressive.
Well, and you gotta think, like, this has to be a good, like, marketing style, right? So you got them wanting it.
I'm more on the side of, like, how do you keep things quiet? Like, in a world where everybody has a cell phone and social media and all of that, and, like, there's obviously tons of interest and excitement around this one. And the fact that nothing has leaked so far is really impressive. So that's something that makes me think everybody involved with it is, like, very bought into it, which is a real good sign.
I like it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for us, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody still knows about it.
Yeah. We only got 7 months left. Almost to the day. Yeah,
it's coming up fast. So since the poster is all we have to go on, there's been a lot of speculation about that, as you would expect with something, this popular. The cloud in it kind of looks like it has a kite tail hanging from it. Mm-hmm. And some people claim that you can see like a string of lights going up from the town to the cloud, but I think that may just be like the street lights of the city going back towards the mountain behind it. But if you search YouTube for Nope Jordan Peele, then you can find way more speculation.
Yeah.
And some of it's actually pretty convincing. Like, there was one guy on the channel, Recap and Chill, that has a really interesting theory about aliens being involved and then ties it to an episode of The Twilight Zone and also ties us to, like, the previous episode in the season of Twilight Zone, which I thought was kind of interesting. But then also another guy named Killjoy Jake speculates that it'll be about time travel due to one of the visuals in the poster. And so if people find those ideas interesting, definitely go check out those videos. But really, we have no actual facts as of yet.
Yeah, there's definitely none. The facts are just who's in the movie, basically.
Yeah. So, but you had mentioned that you were reading like an interesting fan theory.
Yeah. It was exactly what you were just talking about. You ruined my time to shine.
Well, no, go on.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, but I'm not happy about it. I'm just being dramatic. I'm sorry. So, one of the theories with going into the Twilight Zone theory. First off, I would like to say this. If you say the movies in order, you say Get Out, ? Us, ? Nope. So maybe it's all tied into each other. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Could be. Maybe, maybe not. I like that idea. Another one that I was reading about before I get into the Twilight Zone is, people have even gone into, 722, does that have meaning? Right. So Matthew 20 or 722 in the Bible, many will say to me, in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, ? And in thy name done many wonderful works. So could this be about casting? I don't know. It was something stupid that they were talking about. I thought it was interesting.
Not gonna lie, I was looking all over the movie poster for some sign that said 722 or something, and then eventually I realized you were talking about the date. So just in case anyone else,
the day is coming out. Yeah. Okay, so the theories with the Twilight Zone, which I actually thought was pretty interesting. So Us it's definitely come out that he's talked about. It's been influenced by Mirror Image, which is an episode from Twilight Zone, season 1, episode 21. If you can't pick up what it means from the title and if you've watched it, then I don't know what to say. But basically, in Mirror Image, while waiting at a bus station, Millicent Barnes has a strange feeling that her doppelganger is trying to take over her life. That's pretty, if you watch Us, that's basically it in a way. A little more in depth, a little bit more interesting, I feel like. But, so you think, okay, Mirror Image is definitely influenced by that episode, or, her influenced Us. He's come out and said that. The next episode in the Twilight Zone, episode 22, season 1, episode 22, is called The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. So, basically, I guess I could talk about the episode, because if you haven't seen it, it came out 60 years ago or something. It's crazy to think about. But basically, it involves aliens. But aliens flicker a couple lights, and then the neighborhood turns on each other, basically. So, or the city just turns on each other and trying to figure out who's the aliens, who are these people that we don't know, and all this. And basically, long story short, the monsters are like, hey, check it out. All we had to do was flicker some lights, and it threw them all into a tailspin. So that definitely could be an option. I feel like Jordan Peele's a little bit too smart for something like that, but it involves aliens, which is definitely a theory that this movie's about, based off of the cloud, structure and the little things coming off of it.
Well, yeah, because aliens famously travel by cloud.
I do. Well, yeah, they do. I don't know if they do. Son of a bitch. But the other thing too, if you look at it, my thing just from looking, it almost looks like a carnival circus kind of thing. And
I had the same thought, yeah.
And I just kind of hope, deep down, that he was influenced by killer clowns from outer space, and this has something to do with big pockets of cotton candy that are really cocoons. So those are the two theories that we've heard. One is confirmed about Us, and the other's well, if they follow and go to the next episode, that's basically it. But why would he want to do that when, he didn't need to, and he didn't use, from what I could tell, he wasn't influenced by Get Out, or by Twilight Zone for Get Out. So yeah.
So again, lots of speculation, no real fact to back it up. But what I would like to spend most of this episode talking with you about is what you want to see in Nope and what you don't want to see in Nope.
I like it. So I want to see, part of me thinks, I love when films are all tied into each other, right? Mm-hmm. Not talking about the Marvel stuff, that's obvious, but I like how
Star Wars.
That's nerdy stuff. I like how with Stephen King, it's all based in the same town, right? Or same area kind of thing. Like I like those like ties into each other, or like even some of the Quentin Tarantino movies supposedly could be tied in with each other, like the same universe kind of thing. I really like that. So I'd like the idea to be that it's in the same universe, but I like the movie Get Out so much that I don't know if my heart can take basically them being thrown right back into something crazy, because I don't know if he's going to make it out alive and I can't take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how the two movies rank for you, but I personally liked Get Out a lot more than Us. And that's not to say that I don't like Us. I just thought Get Out was a much better movie. And I feel like, and one reason I brought up Ari Aster earlier as well is I felt the same way about Hereditary and Midsommar.
Yeah. In
that the first one felt like it was a lower budget, was more focused, and was pulled off kind of... It was almost like there was something special about limiting the scope of what the movie was that allowed every second of it to be just about perfect. Whereas I felt like in the follow-up that was much higher budget, it could be in a much larger scope and it could cover more ground and have more people and more stuff going on and all that. And then it was almost like a little bit of a sophomore slump. Kind of like you see with bands where like, they're just working on their own material. Then they go to the studio and they have the first album that everybody loves. And then they go back to the studio and now they've been through it before and they know all the things that are possible. And sometimes it just doesn't quite deliver on the same like emotional level that the first one did.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like I've seen that. So what I would love to see and what my biggest hope is for Nope is that it maybe reins in just a little bit of like what the scope or how kind of big and sprawling Us was, and is a little closer to kind of the more self-contained, more focused, more get the most out of every second that I feel like Get Out was, but also with like the larger budget and the more experience and probably the collective higher budget, acting salary and all of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And because I think that, so I was kind of thinking, like, when you were talking, like, which one is my favorite out of the two, and I feel like I've watched Us more than Get Out, and I don't know why, because I specifically like Get Out. I think Us just reminded me of, like, such an 80s, it had, like, a real 80s style to it in a way, slasher, that's obvious, but, I think because I didn't think Us was bad, it was just I like Get Out more, so it's like, even for me, if it's on the same level as Us, I'd be cool with it. I definitely understand what you're saying with not being too broad or anything, but it was still quality film and better than a lot of horror films that came out at the same period,
Sure.
But I don't want to give him a pass just because I've liked his two movies, so like, it better be good, kind of thing, like, don't let me down. It's a lot of pressure. Jordan, I know you're listening to this. Don't worry. Hey, we're still friends. I will say this, though. I don't know if it's all going to be tied in with each other, and that's specifically based off the fact that I don't see Lil Rel in the lineup for Nope. So either that's a really good like thing that they hid, or something that didn't happen. Or that's not going to be the case, but
yeah.
But I also like the idea of him just being able to have, like, it doesn't, I like the idea of it being kind of tied into some, same town, same whatever, but
like the Jordan Peele cinematic universe.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be like, the stories don't have to be tied into each other kind of thing.
So I love the idea of them all being just completely separate, and
I
maybe
do too,
reusing some similar, actors and stuff. But I just like, because what I want most out of Jordan Peele is the creativity and the way that he can take his like creativity for story and filmmaking and combine that with just really creative ideas. Like to be able to take his love of the horror genre and his own like way of viewing things there, and then translating that into like a compelling story that just feels like very unique in its own thing. Like that's what I like. That's what I want. I will say the only thing that makes me even like the slightest bit like not hyped for this is I hated the Candyman sequel or reboot or whatever you want to call it. I did not enjoy that movie at all. I was really excited about it. I saw it in a theater and I was just horribly disappointed afterwards. And that one too, like it wasn't, let's see, he co-wrote and produced, but he did not direct. Mm-hmm. And I think my two biggest complaints about it is, one, it just felt like a reboot of the story, but it really felt like it was just trying to kind of more like complain about gentrification than it was trying to be scary. Mm. And I felt like the pacing of it just did not deliver. And so producer and writer is real different than director as it comes into those things to some extent. So I'm not officially unhyped for Nope. I finally seen like one piece of his output that I didn't love, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I do think that you have to, like, I feel like the reason why Get Out worked was because they were just like, here you go, you can do this kind of thing, and let him like control it. It's directed, written by, it's him, not 100% produced by him, but I assume that's because of whatever. But, same thing with Us, Get Out, or Us was directed by and written by him. Then like you're saying, you go Candyman, and he was co-writer. I don't fault him for it. But what I do fault him for?
What's that?
Pissing me off.
Did you ever see the new Candyman?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But yeah, it just...
I think we were looking forward to watching it. We just...
Yeah.
You never know when movies come out anymore, I feel like.
Right, or where, or how you can watch them, or for how long. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that one, I could definitely see him being excited about that project, just because, like, growing up as a horror fan, that would have been, like, around the time that would have been, like, really exciting for him. Mm-hmm. And so to be part of, like, a movie he grew up with. Like, if you had the opportunity to work on a reboot of Halloween, like, how excited would you be?
Very.
Even if it was like, oh yeah, it's just a reboot of an existing thing and we know it's going to stay pretty close story-wise and there's this other stuff that we're going to do with it. But you would definitely get involved with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even if it wasn't set up to be the best movie.
Because you're like, maybe I can fix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're fixers.
Or like, it'll just be cool to me to even be involved or like see, the filming or how we, costume the Candyman or that stuff.
That's a very positive outlook on something. And I'm not used to you having that.
Yeah. That's how much I like Jordan Peele and how much I am excited for Nope. So the main things that I'm looking for in it and that I'm hoping for in it are just sort of that creative twist of this feels like its own type of thing that he put out that nobody else would have. And I want it to be scary and intense in the way that I found Get Out to be scary and intense. And that's not that it has to be like, every scene's a jump scare, but just sort of like that really well-paced, really get the most out of every scene intensity that keeps you engaged.
Yeah. And unless it's a complete surprise, I have a feeling it'll be like that. Now, I don't want to get our hopes up too high because I don't want to make that be the reason why we're not huge fans of it. But I would say I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm definitely looking forward really to even just see a damn trailer. I just want to know. I just want more,
sure.
And so, good on you, Jordan, for doing this, but it's like, come on, man, just, hey, email us just a little snippet. Just a little snippet. Come on.
Just take a picture of one page of the script.
That's all I need, bud.
Email it to me. I promise I won't share it.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's going to be good. The good thing, too, is we only have 7 months to deal with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost to the date.
Well, which variant will we be on by the time this comes out?
That's for sure, yeah. What's going to be the reason why we can't go to the movie theater then?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But let me tell you, the other day I mentioned, because it's just you and me, I got the door shut, we're here podcasting,
mm-hmm.
and Sarah was like, I don't think we're going to see that movie in the theater. And I said, And that's it for today's episode. If you've listened this far, then thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We're always looking for new ideas, so if you have any questions, comments, or movie suggestions, please send us an email at thehorrificpod@gmail.com, or feel free to comment on or message our Facebook page. Just search for The Horrific Podcast. Thanks for listening.